Hello and welcome back to another episode of Inside Masters Minds, where we dive deep into epic humans and find out what got them to where they are today. And yeah, just find out if we can learn something from someone. I truly believe that everyone has a story within them, and yeah, we can learn something from someone. So today I have a really special guest, Knut. He's someone who I actually met training in Nirvana Strength Bali, and we've had great conversations. So I thought, hey, you know what? Let's bring this one on record today, and let's dive in. So, Knut, thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, hello, welcome.
Thank you. So, Knut, for the listeners here that are just coming across you, I know that you have an Instagram handle called Travel Rich, but I'm sure you didn't always start out that way, traveling rich. So maybe just want to give a little bit of a foundation to the listeners who are just learning about you for the first time. How did you get to where you are today a little bit?
Oh, that's already a huge question at the very beginning, because
Yes.
this travel rich is actually the main topic, which is guiding or leading me since 6 years now. So
Okay.
I have to maybe start for this a bit earlier when I was young. I mean, I know that a lot of people, and probably yourself, looking for success in their life somehow, whatever that will be, and however your definition for that is. And lots of people looking also for financial success because they want to be free, they want to have an independent life. They look for a beautiful life they always were dreaming of when they dropped out of school. And for me, it was always also success in business, for sure, and financial success, because this is what you dream of when you're young. You dream about good cars, you dream about a good income, you dream about a big apartment and nice holidays and whatever. So I always was chasing this success, and I also was starting in the finance industry from the age of 20. And finance industry is famous for earning good money, for all the stuff I was mentioning about: big trips, nice cars, high income, and yeah, everything you dream of. So I was just surrounded by people who actually were chasing success and who actually were millionaires. So my idea was always, I want to become a millionaire. That's what that was my big dream. I didn't even know why. So it was just like everybody wants to be. And when you're there, you're famous, you have everything you need, probably all your problems are solved. So when you're so young, you probably don't have a big idea. So I just was talking about it like everyone else. And when you're just talking and you have education with millionaires, you just follow the same path. And that's what I was also telling my friends and my family, and everybody was always making fun about it. And my family always was doing jokes about it. You want to become a millionaire by the age of 30. I always was saying this. I didn't become millionaire by the age of 30, just everything at the beginning. But I always wanted to have this success somehow, because I realized maybe being a millionaire is not 100% the success. The question is, what do you want to have for a life around it? So I wanted to become more rich, but rich doesn't necessarily mean 1 million euros on your bank account to me. It means some other things I was just experiencing as I was growing and becoming more experienced and grow older. So after 10 years in this finance industry, I realized you're not a millionaire yet, because I maybe didn't have the proper goal for it. I didn't maybe make a proper plan for it. I maybe wasn't so passionate about it. I just tried to earn good money and had a big career. But I realized after 10 years, it's not the case. So I wanted to change my life. And I didn't want to make the same job for 40 years, like past generations before me, doing over and over the same shit every day from Monday to Friday. So I said I wanted to travel the world, and I wanted to have new experiences, and still wanted to become a millionaire. And I went to a meeting once before I started traveling, because I was really crazy about this idea to travel and earn money. And I saw a guy who went to Canada, by the way. Oh, yeah. And he was working in Canada as a tree planter, just putting 3,000 pieces of trees every day in the ground between bears and wildness and everything. And he told me that he was earning $5,000 with it a month, but you had to also work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you do that for 3 months straight. So you're working your ass off for sure, but afterwards you earn $5,000 a month. And that's what I was thinking, that's interesting. You can go somewhere and still earn really good money when you do these crazy jobs. And that was just the idea. So actually I wanted to go traveling, see other nations, educate myself, and become more rich in terms of other cultures, other ideas, raise myself, but still earn money on the way. And that was the whole idea about Travel Rich, to actually go and get raised and educated by the world outside, but still having a look, what can I do? What do I want to do? What's actually possible?
Wow, that's so cool. So something just came up for me when you're saying this, is like the same realization happened to me similarly, where you said that you can travel and educate yourself. Like I can remember I was about 25 when I started learning off of YouTube, and I was like, oh, like I don't want to leave because like I want to learn off YouTube and keep learning. And that was like a reason why I didn't want to travel. But I remember I got to Mexico, and I'm like, the first day I landed, and then I woke up in the morning, I started learning, and I'm like, I can learn anywhere. I don't have to be in Canada to learn. But my paradigm was, you need to be in school, like go to university to learn. But like life and off of YouTube and kind of becoming an entrepreneur, you don't need you can learn that from anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you wanted to create a digital lifestyle for yourself, and you had been working in the finance industry for 10 years, so how did you start to transition? And before that question, I'd like to know this, because I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision to start traveling. Like, did you have some fear to get through at the beginning?
Oh, for sure. I started to prepare to leave, actually, I think 3 years before I left.
Wow.
So I just had this crazy idea, because I don't know how I was in the car, and I was driving to a big media center to buy lots of new devices like TV and a PlayStation, all the stuff, because I got a new apartment. And was switching on the radio, and on the radio there was a guy who actually was 25, and he said he didn't make it really far in his life. He was a drug addict, he didn't really get educated, he didn't get a proper job, and so on and so on. So his life was a mess until his age of 25. And then he was telling about a story that he decided to just go a pilgrim way. So just a pilgrim, yeah. And he said that he had a big backpack full of stuff, and after a week he was throwing away half of it because he realized he doesn't even need it. And he was going, I don't know how many weeks he was going, but on this journey of walking and working for other people just for accommodation and food, he realized what he maybe wants to do in the future. And he just was alone with his thought. And I was impressed by this idea. I thought, amazing story. This is what I should do. Just pilgrim for a couple of weeks and have a look what is it doing to you. And was on the way to this media center and spent $3,500 just on devices I have for my home. You know, that doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, but there I had the idea, and the first step I was doing, I was talking to my mom. So I was just going home and realized I don't do this because I'm working in the finance industry. I have lots of employees. I have a big team. I have a good income. I had everything I wanted to have. I had a specific car. I had a Mini Cooper S, by the way, because I love Mini Cooper S, and it was a special edition. And yeah, and we have really two lines in my city. Yeah, same. I love it. And we always had two lines in my city but I always opened the third one just with my car and was going left and right. And it was amazing. So it was pretty crazy. And of course, we are earning good money. And I didn't want to give up on that because I had built up my life. And I was going to my mother to the garden, and she was laying outside. And then I was just sitting down to her and said, "Hey, Mom, do you know what? Sometimes I wish my life is falling apart." And she was looking to me and said, "Hey, what's going on now? Do you have any big problems?" So she was really worried. And she said, "Hey, what's going on? Tell me." And I said, "Naya, listen, so I think if everything would go wrong, and I would lose my job, or maybe there's a big airplane crash down and our whole company is not existing anymore, I would take the last 1,000 euros I'm having, flying to an island and just work whatever work I can find, because I think you survive everywhere at any time. You will always find possibilities. And then, yeah, that was just what I said. And then she had a look to me and said, so why don't you?
Mm.
And I was thinking, I mean, I have everything. I can't give up on that. I have the company, I have responsibilities, everything. And she said, yeah, but if you want to do it. And I didn't plan with this reaction of my mother. She just said simply, why don't you do it then if it's really your dream? And I was thinking it's maybe coming support for what I was thinking, that I should stick to it, I should leave it because I have a beautiful life. This is what people usually think. Mm-hmm. You have everything, you don't want to give up on it. You're so attached to your material stuff or maybe your comfort zone. And then we went down for coffee and my whole family had coffee, my brothers, siblings, grandparents, and everybody said, so why don't you? And then the idea was born. And I was calling my best friend back home and said, listen, we have to talk. I have an idea. And then I told him that I want to travel the world. But I was scared and I didn't want to go alone. So I would have probably never done it alone because it's a big step. And you rather die with someone together is probably more fun.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah.
That's so cool, man. I know I can remember that feeling really close to my heart. So yeah, that's such a beautiful time when you leave that life. So, okay, so let me get this straight. You came up with the idea and then it took you three years to manifest, where you were like actually on a plane and off?
Yeah, and I was always just buying books, watching movies like Into the Wild. You maybe know that movie?
I know that movie very well.
Society, yeah, of course. I was, yeah, sure. And I was thinking, Austin, what he did, really, apart from don't eat fucking intoxicated food or something, it's fine. Yeah, I was watching movies. I was buying books about traveling when couples did the stuff I wanted to do. I was buying a huge map with all the continents on it and was hanging it in my apartment. I had a book of the 1,000 places you have to see before you die. Do you know that book?
I've heard of it. I've never read it.
Yeah, you heard of it. And I was marked every single fucking page in this book.
Wow.
Because you could see everything. And I realized, there's so much things to see, you could never do it. So it was always lying next to my bed. So I just was always filling myself with this information and with this inspiration. And then I found at the end, I found a good friend who just wanted to join me for work and holiday to go to Australia first with the age of 30.
So then you went to Australia for the first time.
Yeah. Just work and holiday. That's the easiest thing you can do probably. And I just got this taste of how it is to actually leave your corporate life, having another environment, people who have a totally different life, other goals, other jobs, other community in a hostel, living in a hostel together, and people just talking about where they've been and what they want to do instead of what you're doing for a living. It wasn't even the question.
And isn't that incredible?
Yeah, it was strange. I didn't even feel comfortable the first 6 months.
Oh yeah, okay, so it took you about 6 months to feel comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, when you work on yourself for 10 years and you're self-employed, and you just work on your own ideas, and it's always your success, and you're always creative of how you can earn money, how you can become better, how you grow your business, and then stepping into a totally other world where you just work as a backpacker to collect your 88 days that you can stay a second year, and you just work for minimum wage again, and people telling you what you should do. I was working so many stupid stuff. Before I was wearing a suit and I had a big watch on my armrest, more expensive than a middle class car. And then you do this bullshit again. So I was thinking, Knut, you don't feel comfortable. You have to do something for your success. You're stepping back, not forward. But then, true.
You got to do something for your success.
Yeah, really. And then you're working as a fucking backpacker, cleaning yachts in the Sydney harbor for a millionaire. Actually, what I wanted to be, I was cleaning their fucking boats, polishing.
Wow.
Yeah. But took a while.
So, but I think there's a cool part. I remember we had this conversation before. in order, so just for the listeners that aren't aware of Australia, but you're able to get 1 year working visa, but if you want a second year, you have to do, how do they call it?
They call it regional work or farm work for 88 days. So you actually have to support raw areas where Australians themselves don't want to go. Because there's maybe just farming, there's just fruit picking and mango farming and whatever it is. Or you go to specific areas where they don't have labor work. So you can work on construction sites and so on and so on. And when you collect that days that you was working there, they say, thank you. So the government is, thank you for the support. And then you can stay a second year. That's actually what I realized then, what I want to do, because I liked it so much after 6 months. Mm-hmm. Or everything I was experiencing, the life, the simple life, and just enjoying life every day.
It's, man, you're bringing back great memories inside my body. I really, that time is so special. I think if anyone's listening right now and you're on the edge of your seat thinking, should I do it? You have two guys here that saying, do it, do it, do it.
When did you go? You also been to Australia?
Yeah. To be honest, I did it at just before age 20. So I experienced it quite early in that way of being. But something that I think which is really cool about your journey in Australia, Knut, is that you did the labor job. Correct me if I'm wrong. You did the labor job, but then you were also doing consulting for the people that you're laboring or something like this. Can you tell the listeners that story? It's so cool.
Yeah, that was all. Did I tell you that? I didn't even remember.
Yeah, you did.
That was cool. Yeah. So the thing was for me, first of all, you are the big difference to me because I was 30 already and I saw always the backpackers who were spending their whole money, who were earning just on any parties and alcohol and goon. Was it goon? Goon was it called, right?
Goon.
Yeah. Holy shit. And I was the guy actually with this age because I had experience in the corporate life. I wanted to become more successful. I could deal with money. I know how to save money. Actually, I was a finance advisor, so I actually knew what I have to do. So I was always looking for work where I can earn as much as possible, to save as much as possible, to not spend my own savings and actually also have enough money to travel because I didn't want to work. I just wanted to work for 88 days and just wanted to see the country. That was my goal. So yeah, I was working as a beekeeper for 3 weeks, actually getting honey from the bees. I was working at the Sydney Harbour, polishing yachts and boats. But at the end, I was in West Australia and was working in a steel shed, sanding steel beams every day, 12 hours, just looking down and sanding the rust of the steel beams. And then with this big mask on for inhaling, so as protection, and then I had to spray paint the steel beams. But the thing was, I could earn the minimum wage, which was about $22 Australian dollars. Yeah. And I was able to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I was calculating in my head, Knut, you can save and earn a lot of money other than other backpackers like fruit picking where you just earn nothing. Yep. So that was my goal. And that if I have to do it, I really pull my weight. That's what I was thinking. And we were building a new factory. The good thing was that the new factories was building engineers from Germany. So I actually was in my coffee break and working together with engineers. And the engineers were asking what I'm doing in my real life. And I said, I'm a finance consultant. And business consultant just working here for 88 days. So they were always asking me about finance advisors and we were talking about the stock market and everything. So in my breaks, I was consulting the engineers and selling them products from the German market and was earning in my breaks even more than I did wages in Australia. So I was just earning money, saving money as much as possible and went out of this job with more money I even had before I went to Australia. So it was always just about, I have to save, I wanna earn more, I wanna have this money to actually achieve something and do something and all of this stuff. This is actually how it happened doing the consulting and labor work in Australia.
Man, that is a story. I like you're working labor, but then you're consulting on your breaks.
Yeah. In my labor clothes, of course, in the bakery. That was French.
It's so cool. So then, is this where like the birth of Travel Rich start? When did the birth of Travel Rich start then?
It started, I think before I started traveling, I told one of my friends back home that I want to become rich while traveling, doing all this crazy work in Australia, because I knew you can earn good money if you do that. I wanted to work in a mine for sure, because mining is a lot of money in Australia. I wanted to go to Canada to do this tree planting, and I told them you can always earn a lot of money on the way. So I told them I want to become more rich also by traveling, not just the cultures and everything I see. And I didn't have Instagram at that time. That was 2015. And I got to know all the young backpackers who actually used Instagram and so on. And they said, Knut, you have to use Instagram. And I said, I don't even know how to set it up. So I had two girls who actually was setting up the account for me and said, now you have a profile picture. Here's your account. What should be your name? And I said, oh, then it should be Travel Rich, because I actually travel to become more rich in different variations. And that was the whole goal the whole time. So it just developed then, because from Australia, I started to love traveling so much. It wasn't just about becoming a millionaire anymore, just financial success anymore, just always a lot of wages possible. It was so much good. And you probably know that was so many good memories, which were actually bringing wealth to my life or richness in my life. That was friendships, that was other nationalities, that was getting to know people from all over the world and traveling for 5 weeks in a camper van, camping at the ocean, camping at the most beautiful spots in Australia together and having a great time. That it filled my heart with so much gratefulness and pride and love of all this stuff, that I thought, holy shit, this is beautiful. This is so much fun. I never experienced that before in the corporate life, where it's just about what do you want to do next month? Where do you want to stand in 2 years? It was just living and enjoying pretty much the family feeling I always had when I was raised, spending time together and enjoying your time. And that was beautiful. So this was actually the most interesting thing to me, to always keep going with that.
Man, that's so beautiful. I love sometimes when humans articulate your feelings, you know, so it's such a good way to look at it. It really is the feeling of when you're young, and if you go camping or you go on holidays with your family, that's the feeling of traveling. It's like you're just in this constant warm, fun vibration. I actually, I drank from that cup too much, actually, for some time, where I didn't create any professional skills within inside myself, except for in that place of myself, which was great for how long I did it. But then it turned into a toxic side of myself. So that's where I had to straighten myself out. But in that energy, right? Like, have you found while you're on these trips, like, you go here and then you meet this person and they tell you about this, and then they take you here and then you meet this person that takes you there, and then next thing you know, you're like eating ice cream with a koala bear or something, you know, and you didn't even plan to do that. Have you ever experienced like I call it like the yes energy, where you just keep saying yes, yes, and it keeps developing and it takes you to some cool places? And if you would recommend, where's been like your top places you've been to?
Oh, that's a question I get really often, especially from people also back home. What's your favorite places to go to? So the thing is, I always answer it in the same way. It's like, probably it's a bit like raising your kids. When you have 3 of them, you don't love one more than the other because they're so different. And for me, it's pretty much the same. I love Australia, I love Spain, I love Greece, Thailand, Bali, and so on and so on. Beautiful places, beautiful memories, beautiful experiences. But if I would have to make a decision, when somebody would ask me, where would you like to settle or where you're the most happiest, I would say for me right now, it's Bali. Because because everything I desire, everything I like, all my hobbies, everything I want to do and everything I want to achieve in the future, I can find here. It's a bit like Berlin.
Okay.
You can travel the world, but the whole world is also in Berlin.
Whoa.
You can change the neighborhood from Brasilia to the Portuguese to whatever you want to do. And that's pretty much the same in Bali. They're so open-minded, so many different nations, cultures, religions, people who do different jobs, that you just get inspired, that you can become everything you want, and you can try everything you want, and you can also train or practice everything you want.
Yeah, this is, so myself included, Snoot, I've traveled on and off 10 times where I've left Canada and done trips and come back and whatever. And I've done it on 10 separate occasions. And since age of 20, I've never I've never lived in a place longer than 4 months. Even back home, I go back and forth. And so, or if I was in like a geographical location, I'd move around in different neighborhoods and all this stuff. I just had like a desire to experience more. But what's interesting is I've come to Bali and I've now been here for almost a year and a half. And this is the first time in my life that I don't sit in a place and visualize what's the next trip, should I go, what should I do? Because this place offers so much. For anyone that's not in Bali or experiencing Bali, do you want to give them a little day in the life? This is why I love to have you on, is because sometimes I speak about it, but like sometimes people that listen to me are like, oh yeah, you're just like an anomaly. But for you to express it too would be really awesome. Do you want to just give them a taste of our lifestyle within what you're saying, like experiences, gym, health, and also a good nightlife and then networking, that type of stuff, if that's what you experience here?
Sure. So I start with my general life, which I used to, because I always adjusted a bit, of course, and you always try out some new stuff. But in general, is it that I sleep, and when I'm done sleeping, I actually get up. So it's not like that a big alarm is getting me out at 5 and I have to go to work. Right. I just get up at 8 because my alarm is getting up at 8. And then the first thing I do, I put on my training stuff. I do nothing else. Getting up and putting on my training stuff is the most beautiful thing, because you know what you're doing now. You go and do something for yourself. The very first thing you do is actually something for your body and for your health. So, of course, getting in the bathroom, taking the motorbike, taking a nice 5 or 7 minutes ride on the motorbike, you breathe in the fresh air, you go to the gym and you see and find like-minded people who actually train on themselves, try some stuff, looking beautiful, and just do their training. So do training every day from 9 till 11, 2 hours. And after that time, our gym actually, or my gym, Nirvana, has a beautiful recovery area. So they have a swimming pool, they have a sauna, they have a hot bath, they have a cold bath. So you have time afterwards to do recreation and just let that sink in what you did the last 2 hours. You actually just let your muscles rest. You can even listen to your podcast. I listen to podcasts. I learn for 2 hours in the backyard. I do meditation. I go to the sauna and relax. I dip into the ice bath, which has a huge health effect on the body, to be more clear and to be more motivated. And you actually start your day totally right. So till 1 a.m., I just did this stuff about training and recovery, and didn't even have a meal, because also fasting and good nutrition and having a healthy lifestyle is a very important thing. So I actually start to have my first meal at 2 p.m. I don't know how you do it, but for me it's 2. And then following a good nutrition, a healthy, mainly organic, natural nutrition, and start to work at 3 p.m. At 3 p.m. it's actually German time, because I'm working a lot on the German market. It's maybe 9 a.m. in Germany.
Wow.
Perfect time. So I start my day at 3 and go to a cafe. I have 3 favorite cafes where I'm choosing every day, in which office do you want to sit today? And as soon as I step in the cafe, I don't even have to tell them what I want, because they already know, because I come there every day. And they say it's a big ice latte. All right, the guy knows what he wants. And then I sit there and work for 3 or 4 hours, because I'm very consequent on my working hours now. This is also what I dropped within the process. Not trying to raise my revenue. I wanted to reduce my working hours and raise my free time again. It's a totally different focus I achieved within the last years, what is important to me and how do I want to live. So working for 3 to 4 hours, being really consistent on that work. And then I go home and have dinner with my girlfriend. And then we actually have our time together, talking about her day, talking about my day, listening music, cooking together, watching YouTube videos together, chill on the bed, go out, meeting with friends, and working on other ideas I'm having.
Man. Yep. Okay, for the listeners listening to this, like just feel this for a moment. Like Snoot does all this before essentially German market 9 a.m. It's like if so let's say like, okay, now let's take maybe some of your colleagues in Germany. What do they get up? They probably get up at like 6, have to take the kids to school, have to drive in traffic for maybe like an hour, and then they get into the office maybe like at 8:45ish, and then now they got to start in the market. Whereas like you've trained, you've slept well, you've relaxed, you've fed your mind, you've cold bath, your head's feeling fresh. You know, and then you're sitting down in the cafe where the sun is shining. You just scooted there smiling, and now you start your day.
Yeah, and they sit in a fucking suit in the office, and I'm wearing my tank top. The customer even doesn't see me because I'm just doing voice over IP calls. It's beautiful. That's true. You're absolutely right. And I feel sometimes also sorry for them when I always call them and listen to them how their day is starting. Usually it's starting also without breakfast, and the first thing they do is just having a cup of coffee before they're sitting in this office light, which is usually a concrete building with less daylight.
Wow. Okay, so let's look at this for a sec then. Say you're talking to your colleague and they're like, hey man, like I've been looking at your Instagram, I heard you on this podcast talking about it. What advice could you give me? Or someone that's in like America, North America right now, and they're listening to this and they see this, they hear this, and they're like, yeah, okay, but like what would you say to them? Because like you said, you feel sorry for them. I feel the same way. But what advice could you give to someone that's like, hey man, like I feel sorry for myself, I'm trying to get myself out of this. How do I design my life that sounds awesome? What advice would you give them?
So the first important thing is what you already said they wanted. So first of all, you need to have a goal. If you don't really want it because you don't have any goals or you don't have an idea how your life should look like, because some people just work 8 hours even though they don't have to. They just stay in the office for 8 hours because they have nothing else to do, no ideas, no hobbies. You know, that's difficult. So, but if you're at this stage already, I want that also. How can I do it? Is the advice for me would be always, we have the pandemic now, so have a look, how many hours actually did you need to really finish your tasks? And in most cases, it's just 5 hours because you don't talk to your colleagues so much, you don't take so many coffee breaks, smoking breaks, you're efficient because you know after this 5 hours of free time. So actually, if you would leave your company, you would just have to work for 5 hours if you're clever. And then the other option is you have to be self-employed. This is one good option. The other option is staying employed and talking to your employer. So if I could now work the whole time within the pandemic from my home office, then it's actually possible to sit wherever you want on this planet and doing exactly the same work. That's what you should realize. The only thing what is holding you back is your fear, maybe, or your comfort zone, or what about my family? What about my friends? This is all, everything is coming later. First, you like the idea, and as closer as you come, you maybe struggle because you think, oh, what is when this or this is not working out? But if you're sitting in an apartment in New York or in Vancouver, or you're sitting in an apartment in Bali and have Wi-Fi, it doesn't matter. And then I would talk to my boss and tell him that you still targeting the company goals. You're still very aware of the tasks you have to do. So you want to be a good employee and you want to be reliable. That's what you have to make sure. But you want at least 3 months a year trying to work from home or maybe from on the way, because you want to extend your holidays with your family or with your kids or whatever. And the second option, like I said, is being self-employed within your company and tell them, I want to do exactly the same job. Now you pay me gross pay, maybe $3,000 or $3,500. I want to be self-employed and I want to invoice my activity to your company and even drop maybe my gross pay for $500. So just pay me 3,000. So you saving 500, but I getting 3,000 and just work 5 hours a day from wherever I want. But just I'm self-employed and have my own company structure and just invoice the company. That's what I would do. That's the easiest thing. People just are too scared maybe how to do it. But this is how I'm helping today, even doing the business consulting, how they can do it.
Is this what you're doing currently? Is you're coaching and consulting people to make this transition?
I do not really coaching. Now at the end, we are a consulting company. So I have a consulting company and I do business consulting for, of course, finance and investment projects in Germany. How can companies actually get money to educate their employees, or maybe digitize their work processes, or maybe build a new factory. But I also help people who actually want to do exactly this step. I'm employed now. I can do home office, or how can I actually work online and travel the world, Knut, like you do it? So I help them to get the education they want. I help them to set up the company structure. I help them on the first steps, how to do the accounting, the invoices, what they can say to their employers to actually go where they want to be. And yeah, that's part of my consulting service.
Wow, that's really cool. And so in that transition, how much is it to do with, like, how much do you coach people or consult people through their mental blocks?
Yeah, I don't do exactly mental work because I'm not doing coaching on this one. I mean, I know this is a big problem because I'm always struggling with that maybe myself, but just that I'll probably be more brave or more curious about the process than stepping back about it. But when they are struggling with this, we have to talk about their goals. Because if you don't really want that, it's maybe just an idea you like. Some people just like the idea of being something, but they don't want to put the work in it. So when somebody's sitting at home and let's say they're maybe an accountant, or I actually had people who work in retail even. I mean, teaching people from retail how to do e-commerce and selling stuff they maybe sold before in the shop takes a couple of weeks, maybe 2 months, and they're done. Yeah. And yeah, you have to like the idea. You have to know what you want. And when the stuff what you want is sitting in another country with more sunshine and a coconut in your hand, you have to love that. But you can always try to set this stuff up and stay at home and just go from the north of your country to the south, take in holidays for 2 weeks and just call your boss and asking, can I stay a week longer or 2? I just want to do home office from here because I like it here so much. So actually doing little steps at the very beginning and try it out. That's what you can also do, especially if you have a family or you have concerns. Then you just don't have to do the big jump at the very beginning. Just try it out and you're getting more comfortable with it. And then you say, oh, next time I don't do 2 weeks, I do a month.
That's really good. That is a really good, I didn't even think about that. Like you can just do like little mini trips. Like say your family or whatever always goes to the lake, some lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can stay an extra week, but like try it from home. Yeah, that's really cool. That's a good way because like, yeah, you don't just need to buy the plane ticket and go, because that might be too much all at the start. So yeah, that's really interesting. So just switching gears, because you have a vast knowledge of experience within inside yourself. Something you and I have talked about quite a bit upon is like storytelling. And you correct me if I'm wrong, but you train people in speaking as well, right? Is this correct?
True. We already started a big project now in Bali because speaking is always part of consulting. And speaking, of course, and selling is always a big part in finance because you're selling and you talk to customers and you talk to your employees and you teach them and train them. And it's a lot about motivation and it's a lot about goals and it's actually all this stuff. So from my 20s on, I always got educated in speaking, selling, communicating, and how to connect actually with people from within seconds. They sit on the table the first time and you talk with them about investing money over this budget. So when people don't trust you and they don't like you, you actually don't do business with you. So it's a big part of how do you speak and how do you communicate with them. And this was always a passion of mine and a hobby, because no matter on which stage I was in my life, my friends, my family, and other people were always telling me, oh, Knut, you can speak. You're a talker. That's what they always said. And even when I was in high school, I was maybe close to the edge and maybe didn't make it. We call it A level in Germany to graduate from high school. It's a bit higher than high school actually in America. But they said, oh, when you don't do it, do something where you have to talk, selling cars or whatever. That's what they said. So I always liked it, especially also in selling. I always liked it. I just never liked the paperwork. Mm-hmm. And because I'm doing it since 10 years and it was always part of sitting in a group while traveling, the group is living from communication, laughing, telling stories, telling jokes, having a good night out. There's always that you have to talk, to connect, to actually connect with people like you and have a nice environment. That's what our memories are. That's why you connect with people so much. And this is what I like to teach people, because lots of people unfortunately struggle with that. They go somewhere new and they're afraid of putting themselves out. Mm-hmm. They're afraid of talking to someone and getting to know them, making friends, even talk about others, about their occupation, or maybe about their business, about their service. And I said, I like this topic so much that I first of all want to train myself, because you always become better when you just do training for yourself. So I was setting up a speaker training in Bali with people actually who just want to become better at it. And now I have a big group of 15 students who actually come once a week, every week for 2 hours, and we do different educational programs and teach them that they get some know-how about speaking and what our body is doing, and actually also always practice parts. So we have always 50-50 that we speak every week. And we cover topics like breathwork, hypnotization, meditation, how to deal with fear, communication, connection, how to take a compliment, and so on and so on. We cover every topic which is important to make a good connection and a good community for that people, no matter what they want to use it for. And that's a lot of fun and makes me proud how the people actually developed within the last weeks.
That's so awesome, man. It's so cool to see this develop for you. I've for the listeners, I've been able to kind of see Knut's development in this, and it's been really special to see people coming together and to see the development that, yeah, you took this from an idea and now it's hatched and now it's a thing, and it's so awesome. And you're a great facilitator as well, and a great communicator. So let's say I'm a beginner at communicating and I want to improve. What would be like 3 things that you would tell me to improve on?
In terms of, so first of all, we always work on confidence. Because if you're not confident enough yourself, you don't put yourself out. So we always teach them, first of all, exercises, how to actually know yourself better, trust yourself better, and actually knowing what's happening within your body. So you need to work on your confidence, and there are different tools you can use. You can actually be more aware about your own skills. And gratefulness is a great work. You do mindful work, so you probably know what it is about. Being grateful for what you did in the past and what you're actually grateful in your today's life. What are you proud of? You have to be proud of yourself, what you actually achieved within the last years and what your skills are. You have different skills than anyone else, and you're unique. But people always think they're not good enough. What is not true, because everybody is good enough. And they just should put themselves out. The second thing is repetition. So you need to start speaking. Unfortunately, if you want to speak, you need to speak. But that doesn't mean you need to do a live video every day and you need to post something on Instagram, on Facebook, and put yourself out there when you feel insecure. It's actually getting used to the camera, getting used to the feeling. I teach them also about what is doing fear in our body, what is happening with the heart rate, what is happening with the breath. And when you realize all this stuff, you can also do something against it. And you have to feel comfortable in this environment. I always tell them, you're also doing ice bathing. I know that. It's actually like taking an ice bath. When you step into water with 5 degrees cold, you start to hyperventilate and you want to get out and it's pain and you don't know what's happening and you jump out and you say, fuck, never. I can't do that more than 10 seconds. But if somebody's coming and is telling you how your body is reacting, why your body is reacting like this, that everybody can do it, and for sure you will not dying. You can actually sit 3 minutes straight away after in this ice bath when somebody's supporting you. So this is what I do. I just drop them in. You're scared of speaking? Okay, speak for 2 minutes in front of us. And that's everything. And the third will be, I think, mindset work. So the biggest problem you have in public speaking is yourself. Because nobody's talking so much bullshit about you than yourself. So everything you're scared of, that people laugh, that they make fun about you, that they don't like it, this is coming from no one. This is just yourself. Because nobody's standing somewhere and is putting this out to you, because people are too friendly to do that. I mean, I never went to an event where people stand up and just, apart from you're really nasty, but then you have to be an asshole. What you clearly not are, because you're not coming to be an asshole, you're coming to put something interesting out. And as long as you treat people well and your message is nice, there's nothing you have to be scared. So just yourself, work on your thinking. Think positive instead of negative. As soon as you think negative, is thinking, oh no, I want to think, I like to do that. I'm excited to do that. That will be an awesome show. That will be an awesome speech. People will like that. All this stuff is self-manipulation.
That's fascinating. That's really cool. And so you basically create this container for everyone. This is something that I love about what you guys do. You're really big on supporting each other. Like, talk to me about the ethos that you've created. Like, cause like everyone's coming there to try, right? Everyone's coming there for the same thing, but instead of like criticizing, you guys are there to support each other. So what's kind of the ethos that you've created for this community?
That's actually where I also have to thank you, because just to mention it, you was also helping to give me feedback at the very beginning, especially about this topic we're covering right now. What was very important to me, to give them group mantras. So everybody is getting a paper where standing the group mantras, and everybody has to confirm before participating that they stick to this mantras. And the mantras saying something like, that no one is here to judge you. We are here to support each other. Everybody is here for a reason. They want to grow, they want to become better, and they want to become better in public speaking. We all know how that feels like. We all know it's difficult, and everybody's feeling the same way like you do. So there will be nothing else but support, help, and just help for each other. That's pretty much everything. So these are the mantras we actually have as a definition before we start the workshops, and even before people start to speak. And I have Indonesians, which are from the culture more shy and small and tiny and whatever, they shake before they have to speak. And I tell them, listen, before you speak, read these mantras, because nobody is here to judge you. Nobody is here to criticize you, apart from in a positive way that it suits you and that you can grow. So read that and be aware of that we are all sitting in the same boat. Go out and just spread your message and try stuff. Be motivated. You can sing, you can dance, you can be loud, you can be quiet, fast or slow. Try what suits you and just become better. And everybody else should do the same stuff. And this is what they understand. And within 2 weeks, the people said, Knut, I feel actually after 2 weeks so comfortable now speaking here next to you, because I can't explain it. I just feel so comfortable. I said, yes, this is the feeling I want them to keep for the future, that they're speaking in front of 15 strangers. So next time when it's 150 strangers, should be the same situation. Just do it, because everybody is usually a friendly person. And they come with a positive mindset when they sit there.
Man, that is so special. Is it pretty rewarding work that you're facilitating there now? Is it?
Yeah, a lot. It's very, I mean, you know it probably yourself. You always do something because you like it, and for you it's more natural to do it somehow. And for you it's maybe also nothing special. I mean, I don't do something to be special. I just do it because I like it. And I also like to help people, and I want to see them to grow on the next level. And afterwards, they are so thankful, and they're sending you messages in the group and how much they appreciate that what we do. And we really also put work in it, but the feedback which is coming back, and actually see them from week to week becoming better and more brave and more motivated, is so beautiful. It's just, yeah, we at night when I go to bed with my girlfriend after this event, we usually want to sleep. We can't sleep for 2 or 3 hours until the night, because we still talking and coming with other ideas. And did you see them, him or that or whatever? It's very good.
That's so awesome. Something you're doing as well with your girlfriend, and I thought was really cool, is the exercise of just like speaking to camera, because like a lot of people, so myself included, okay, I'm going to be extremely candid here for this moment. When I saw people speak to camera on YouTube or anything, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm a charismatic guy. I can talk to people. This is going to be easy. And guess what happened when I turned on that camera? I got so humbled, and I was so bad. And also because I was in my own illusion, I didn't know how bad I was. And on top of that, I was so bad, people felt guilty to even tell me that were my friends and stuff. So I stayed in this loop for a very long time, challenged to talk to camera, man. It was not good. I took a long road to really learning to speak to camera. But something I thought was cool is the exercise that you, and I don't know, are you taking your students through this exercise as well? But just want to give the listeners what you're doing, because I'm sure some people are even seeing us right now speaking on YouTube, or if you're listening to this being like, man, I wish I could do that, or I always wanted to do that. What is the exercise you do with your girlfriend?
The exercise is actually, first of all, putting the camera in front of you, showing it to you, of course, and then press the record button. And I do it with my students a bit different. I mean, my girlfriend, I was pushing into the ice cold water straight away, and she should do something. But with my students, I'm actually more sensitive. So the first exercise is just taking the camera, putting it in front of you and doing record, and you are not allowed to speak. So people think, hey, it's strange, I should learn to speak. Yeah, but you should not talk. And just record yourself for 3 minutes doing exercises in front of the camera.
Not talking.
First thing is not talking.
Wow.
The first thing is, for example, what we did now before the interview, I just actually do exercise like the power pose. To open yourself up.
Yes.
Breathing. I like to be here and I feel comfortable. That's what you can think to yourself. And actually you breathe, open up. And then you do another exercise, which is actually breathing, for example, 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. This is showing your body that you're calm, and it's calming your body down. So you're doing breathing exercise, and I just tell you that you should learn to look to the lens and not to yourself. We are so selfish, we love ourselves the most, that we always have a look to our own face for any reason. I see myself every day. So, but don't look to yourself how you look like. You know how you look like. Look to the lens, because you actually have a look to the audience. So we do power poses. We open up. We can actually also stretch, because this is opening your body. And when you're scared, you actually go together, because we do the opposite. Open up first and just do how you stretch. And then you do like a stretching exercise training video. Doesn't matter, but you do it for yourself. Second exercise is breathing. 4 times in, 8 times out, calm your body down. Third exercise is QIR. QIR is actually not talking, it's a speaking exercise from both voice coaches to have a clear, loud speaking when you speak. It's a Q, so your mouth is going like this. I, you have it pretty open. R, you open your mouth. These are 3 exercises I tell them without speaking.
So sorry, later on, do you just repeat QIR?
QIR. Yeah, it's 3 letters, Q, I, and the R.
Okay.
Yeah. And with the breathing exercise, it's just another thing. When they breathe in 4 times and out 8 times, it just sounds actually like this. As deep as possible. This is actually losing up your muscles from your throat so that it can speak better, because when you're scared, your throat is going together, the muscles. And this as deep as possible, first of all, is loosening your muscles. And secondly, it's training your voice to become more clear and deep and friendly and more volume. So you actually do a preparation right now, which you don't actually know, because this is what you do when you speak. Before you speak, you're opening yourself up, you do power pose. Before you speak, you do the breathing exercise before you go on stage. Before you speak, you do tone exercise. And you do want to speak clear. Q-I-R, Q-I-R. You bring yourself on a good energy level. And then you go out and then you perform with all the knowledge you're having about fear and public speaking. So that's actually the whole concept behind it.
I love it.
They train something in the first video without even knowing they use it later.
Wow. That's really powerful, man. You've just inspired me. I've got to step up my on-camera warm-up. My partner, my girlfriend, she's a trained actress, and she takes me through some of these exercises. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm kind of like I come from the just do it world. But that gets you to a certain level, but like you also need to have these things in place and systems in place before, if you really want to go to the level that you're talking about here, where you're speaking in front of a crowd of 1,000 to 2,000, you know, you gotta warm everything up. And sometimes I think, for me, at least in my experience, when just talking to camera, it's like, oh, I'm just talking to a camera. But it's so interesting, right? Like if we look at the views, you know, like there's 1,000 people, that's 1,000 eyeballs you're talking to. So you should warm up and speak to them as if you're going to speak to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, however many people. It's a really good thing. I appreciate that. I'm going to take that and apply that one. And I'll write that down. So I really appreciate that. So thank you for sharing. So we're just about coming to the end of the podcast. And something I like to do at the end of each podcast is do a thing called lightning round, where I ask you certain questions and you can tell me within like 2 to 3 sentences afterwards what your thoughts are.
Okay.
But before we get into that, is there anything else on your heart that you want to express to the people, to the listeners here, that you haven't expressed today already?
Yeah, I think, of course, we were now on the surface of all these topics, but I think at the end, it's like topics which are important to everyone. Everybody want to somehow be successful, no matter what it is. Everybody likes to travel, and everybody has to communicate in their life. So there's actually topics which are covering lots of people in the world and who are struggling with this topic. So everybody has to find their own way. That doesn't always mean that you have to perform on a high level. Sometimes it's just enough if you're just good. So when you're happy with achieving good, it's all right. I mean, we are knowing so many people who are living in Bali and just making maybe 2.5, 3 grand a month, and it's totally fine. It doesn't have to be 10, 20 and so on always. So you can always create a beautiful life. You just have to know what you want. And with the speaking, this is probably leveling up now within the next weeks. There's lots of other topics, of course, to cover. We were just talking about the beginnings now, what people can do, but there's so much more what you should pay attention to when you record yourself on video camera. Warming up is one point, knowing why you do it is another point, actually knowing who do you talk to is another point. So these are all questions we're actually covering later. And if you're ever in Bali, guys, whatever, just drop me a message and we see if we have some spots free, because you always take maximum 15 people in one go. But yeah, thank you so far for the interview. It was very nice also for me to review the last years and actually talk with someone about it, because usually you don't even have these conversations, and you need always someone who's asking good questions, who's actually interested in knowing something. So thank you for that, Matthew, at this stage.
I appreciate it, man. It's yeah, I mean, we can always, I think this is I was talking to my girlfriend about this before we jumped on, and I said, if you want to be a good podcaster or conversationalist, it's really simple. Just genuinely be interested in human beings. Just genuinely, from your heart, from seriously your heart. No tactic, no gimmick. Care from your heart. Be interested. I'm curious to know What did you go through? How did that feel? What are you experiencing? Because I actually want to know. And the reason I want to know is because like, I bet you that you've gone through something that could help me and I could learn from you. And it doesn't matter if you're someone working at McDonald's or if you're someone working in a high up finance office, I can learn from you. And that's something that I've really developed over the years. It's like, just genuinely be interested. So I am interested in you, man.
Yeah, you couldn't have done a better conversation about talking about exactly this, because now you uncovered the biggest secret from connecting, communicating, and speaking. You have to be curious, you have to be interested, and you have to care about the others. If you don't do that, you're a shitty communicator, connector, and so on and so on. So that's actually the most important thing. You have to be curious and interested in the others. And that's what you are. That's why it's interesting also to have always a conversation with you, no matter where it is. I mean, today, the first time at Zoom, but also in the gym, we always have a laugh about something and can talk about everything. That's very good.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right. So you ready to get into the lightning round?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Other than the basics, what's your favorite app on your phone?
My favorite app on my phone?
Yeah.
YouTube.
Because
I use YouTube. Other than YouTube, it's
like other than like YouTube, Instagram, Safari, like the basic.
So no social media.
Yeah.
It's my business account. First of all.
Your bank.
Yeah, of course. Always be aware of your numbers. Second is brain puzzle game. So it actually trains your brain to be more creative and has a good memory. I like this app a lot because it's training my memory and my brain while doing a game. It's like a puzzle.
What's it called? Is it called Brain Puzzle?
It's called Wooden Blocks, I think. Wood blocks. Because it's wood blocks you always put from one spot to the other. I have to see if it's really called wood blocks, but I think so. But anyway, it's a puzzle. I like it a lot because it's also automatically training my brain while actually having fun. And this is the best thing to learn something. Having fun in something and learning.
Yes, that's really cool. And then what's your most gifted?
Cube block.
Oh, cube blocks.
Cube, like cube.
Okay.
Cube block, yeah.
Cube blocks. Okay, cool. What's your most gifted book? Like the book that you've given out the most to people?
That was, how's it called in English? How to win friends and influence people?
Yes.
Is it like,
yes, that's it.
How to win friends?
How to win friends and influence people. Dale Carnegie.
In Germany, we call it, yeah, right. Great book. Holy moly. Because you can learn so much from this book as a person, for your character, what you did wrong in the past and what you can do better. Because influencing sounds to people always so negative. It's absolutely not, because you influence people by just stepping into a room. But you want to influence them in a positive way, that they're also open to you and want to talk to you. So this is a great book to be a better communicator, a better person, and a better character, just in working with people and being in communities. Man,
that is just such a, I think that's in like the top 5 business books, a must read. Like you gotta understand this book. One of the biggest take homes, which I thought was interesting, actually 2 that come to mind for that book that stood out for me. The most charismatic person in the room is a dog.
A dog,
because everyone's excited to see the dog. The dogs bring good, everyone, oh, hi, how's it? The dog can meet everyone too. It's like the most charismatic thing in the room. And the second one was like smile, like just smiling. It's like these basic things, but like he's broken down like things of why to do it. Such a great book. I completely agree with you there. Okay. So if you could put a billboard, let's say in Berlin, and it's on the busiest street in Berlin, and it could say a quote or like 2 to 3 sentences, what would you put on that billboard?
The first sentence which is crossing my mind, so I'd like to take the first thing which is crossing my mind without digging deeper, would be, you are what you think. That's actually a sentence I also teach my students. So actually we don't teach it, we talk about it and we have a discussion about it. Is it true? Is it not true? And people always realize that they have specific thoughts. Their whole environment and their life is based on their thoughts, who they are, how they feel, how their life is. So if you just have negative thoughts, you also have a negative outcome. And maybe also you look differently on your life. And you can change pretty much everything you are and how you feel and what you want to become in terms of how you think about yourself and think about your life. I think it's very, very much underestimated for people that they think about their own thoughts. So I like to give a paper to my students where is standing written after we covering this topic, what do you want to think about yourself? Or actually, what do you want to think? No matter which situation, even if you come into a room with strangers, how you think, and this is a good example with the dog, when you are interested, you are interesting. When you are smiling, people are smiling. Come in a room and you're in a good mood and you're laughing, people are in a good mood and laughing. They can feel your energy. What you have in your mind, people can feel that and see that, because your whole body is just expressing what you feel and what you think. And if you're shy, your expression is shy. And if you think bad about yourself, people can see that. They see the insecurity. And you probably know how people look like when they're insecure. And they're not really attractive. And that's you are what you think. And this is what people should really think about.
So good. This is something that really helped me along my journey. I'm not sure if you know this, and I might get the percentages incorrectly here, but it's like communication is like 55% body language, 39% tonality, and the rest is through the actual words that you speak. So you can start decoding communication through people's body language. So like you said, if they're feeling shy or insecure, their body language is going to be like slouched or depressed, like you did the power pose. If you're feeling confident or strong, your chest is wide open. But what I started to love is like, hey, if we start learning what these body signals are signaling, we can start decoding communication. So if you say like, I'm fine, or I'm fine, or I'm fine, all the different ways to say one thing actually can mean different things. And I think this is where we are in a challenge in our planet actually right now, is because of the way we communicate. It's like, there's so many layers to our communication. So that's why I like that you help people communicate, because there's a big passion of mine. And I definitely saw my communication increase when I started looking deeper into this stuff. So in the last 6 months, what's a new habit you acquired?
The new habit I record the last 6 months is getting up at 6. I will bring that down to the 5 a.m. club probably, but you have to start somehow. So I realized even how more beautiful. I hated getting up early in the corporate life, because getting up at 6 and it's still dark. And the first thing is what you do is working. So it's nothing really, when you don't really love it, it's difficult and you don't like it. But now when I get up at 6, I actually just sit up in bed. I do my morning gratitude and read about what I'm proud of. So actually, you have to start your day right. That's pretty much another message. So when you start your day right, your day just can become awesome. But you have to do something differently than yesterday, totally differently. And I just get up and do my morning meditation and my gratitude in the morning, and then actually start my training earlier and even my studying earlier. And I'm done much earlier with the whole day. So when I was telling earlier, I get up at 8 and then go to the gym. That was 2 weeks ago. Now I actually have a new habit and I like it a lot. It's beneficial. I'm more productive and enjoy the day more. And I just have more fun. The day feels double as long as before. And that's beautiful. And I do it on my own will. I don't have to do something. I start with meditation and not work. I start with something I would like to do. And that's a great habit. And I want to keep going with that.
Keep it up, man. Keep it up.
Yeah.
It is a game changer. I remember the feeling too. Almost a year and a half ago, I was getting up at like 10 a.m., so, or even like 11. And editing, like going to bed at like 4 a.m. or something like this, you know? So that shift in time zones and stuff is definitely changed my world as well. And finally, what's something new you've learned recently that's changed your life?
What I learned new, what changed recently in my life is, so it's specifically in sports, but I think it's also important for every other aspect in life, is starting with the basics of my exercises I do. Very often I try to do some exercises, and if you try it the first time, you want to train it, you want to do it the next day. And you always try to do the whole exercise straight away because you want to do front lever, for example, or you want to do a handstand. And you don't understand that you have to break down your goal in 10 steps. So that's a rule of thumb of mine. No matter which goal you're having in business or in setting up a company or actually achieving something exercise, break it down in 10 steps. And start with the first step. And in handstand you start doing exercise for your arm wrist. This is here. This is the very first thing. You have to concentrate on it. Being mindful of the very first exercise and why you do it. And then you come to a 10-point plan, wrist, elbow, shoulders. You do practice a hollow body position. You do different exercises at the wall. And at the end, after a couple of months, you can do your handstand. But we will never achieve a goal within the next 24 or 36 hours. So what I was learning now, practicing some new exercises, especially for my squats and so on, is doing exactly the same again, being mindful in the moment and concentrate on the very first part I have to train. And this is actually my ankles. Usually we train squats and do the big squats, but it's actually the ankles. Afterwards, it's my knee. It's even my hip. And I have to take my time and I have to break it down and I have to be patient. I need patience. But I don't have the patience. This is probably also our biggest enemy, that we always want it tomorrow. And sometimes things take 3, 4, 5 years. And that's what I realize now again, because training is teaching me a lot. It's teaching me consistency. It's teaching me discipline. It's teaching me writing myself a training plan. I even have a training plan for my business. The whole week is a training plan where I write down the most important business things I have to do before I forget it. And this is something I realized now, actually, in the last weeks again, that this is very important in life. Have a plan, have a goal, and break it down in different steps and start with the basic.
Man, I think that is some great advice to come towards the end of our podcast on. I really appreciate that. That's something that I've been beating in my brain as well, as mastering the basics. Although myself included, I still got a ways to go on understanding basics. I think that that's something that I can definitely do better at, is definitely mastering the basics. Knut, I want to acknowledge you for the work and the joy and the excitement, the passion you're bringing to this world. I always appreciate being around people like you that are just excited, you know, that's just got like a pep to you, you know, there's something under you or in you that not all humans have within them. I don't know if it's come to you naturally or if it's something that you've had your whole life, but it's just nice to be around. So I appreciate all the insights and excitement that you have with whatever you're doing. That's just, I think it's in you, right? You're just so excited for whatever it is you're doing, you know, and it's nice to be around. So thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today, and jumping on and sharing your insights. Do you have any final last words before we close off here?
No, the only thing what I was thinking about, that it was a lot of fun now to talk to you, and it's I can just give back the same to you. And thank you for the great conversation and the questions and so on. And I'm looking forward to see you next time. And now I have to leave because I have a coffee appointment now at 3 p.m. start to work.
Amazing. So finally, where can anyone find you if they want to come to Bali and they say, hey, I heard you on the Inside Mentors Minds? How do they find you?
So for sure, every morning from Monday to Friday at Nirvana Strength. Then you will find me every Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. at Dojo co-working space where we attend our speaker training. It's called Just Talk. And other than that, it's at Revolver Cafe, Blacklist Cafe, or Hungry Birds Cafe. One of the three I'm always working on. But mainly it's Hungry Birds and Blacklist. So if you have time on the three, you're welcome and invited on a coffee if you have time. You can have a look.
And on Instagram, Travel Rich, right? Travel underscore rich.
Travel underscore rich. Someone was seeing my name before, so it's double underscore rich. Yeah, that's true.
Acha. All right. Well, thanks again. And this was another episode of Inside Masters Minds. All right. Take care, everyone.
Have a great night. Great day, Matthew. Bye-bye.